So this video is going to assume that you've already worked in foam or you've watched my 101 videos. If you're new to foam and you have any questions that I don't cover in this video, watch the 101 videos, my 101 playlist, click the video in the link here or go to the description section for the link later. So in building this guy out, of course the first thing you're going to want to do is print out your pattern pieces. All of them are going to be grouped into their core areas. You've got your torso pattern pieces, you've got your shoulders, you have your back section which attaches to the torso. The actual torso section does have a back piece to it. You've got your arm patterns, bicep and tricep, and then you have your ab section right here, which looks like this. So the first section I would recommend building would be the torso section, since everything builds off of that. So then after that you could do the shoulders, you can do the back section, the arms, the abs, whatever you prefer. You'll see torso 1 is broken up. This pattern piece is broken up into 2 pieces. You'll cut these out and you'll line them up on the X's here to make one piece, or at least one half of the pattern. And either you can make 2 copies of it, or you can use this and just flip it over twice to do the full chest, or you can print it out twice and attach it on the center line here. For torso 2, you have a piece that says top torso chest side. So that piece is actually this piece right in here, and then you have a torso back piece right here. So here we have the front, then on the inside on the back, it's the pattern for this piece right here. So it'll be half of this, so you can print it out twice to have the full pattern, or you can just flip it over on the foam to create that whole entire piece. So you see it there, the torso back 3/8 inch is one half of this right here. Now some of the pattern pieces, you'll see that it's marked cut at 45 degrees. Those will be bevel cuts, and the arrows indicate the angle at which you want to cut the pieces. So for example right here, since these arrows are pointing inward, assuming this is the top of the pattern, you want the cut, instead of going out this way, you want the bottom of it to go that way. So for example, if this was the piece you were cutting and this is the top of the piece, you see there's a 45 degree cut. This is the top here, this is the bottom, and it's cut inwards. Now if the arrows were pointing that way, then you want to make your bevel cut go that way. So for torso patterns 3, it's just 2 pieces here. It's the torso chest detail. You want to make out of 2mm foam, which are just these pieces right here. The other pattern piece is the bottom of the torso chest, which is this guy right here. And you see on it, it has these additional places where you want to cut. These are going to be registry marks that you can mark on the foam with your pen, so you can use them as reference to line up and glue the piece in place. You also notice there's a center line here that you'll probably want to mark on the foam piece itself to help you center the piece. There's quite a few pattern pieces that use these registry marks and these center lines to help you center your pieces so they all go together nicely. For example, here is a bicep piece, already put together, not painted yet, but you can see ever so faintly on each one of these pieces, they have been marked with a pen. And even though you probably can't see them because a lot of them are covered up, these all had registry marks along these edges. So you can use these center lines to center the pieces, and then use the registry marks on the patterns transferred to the foam, so you have a symmetrical piece when you're finished. So for torso 4, again you'll have 2 pieces that you want to attach together, and this will be for the left and the right side. So that pattern piece covers this piece right in here. From the inside, you can see it's this piece right here. Now for the shoulder pattern pieces, they're pretty self-explanatory. You'll have one pattern piece for the center here, one pattern piece that mirrors the front and the back, and then you'll have this small piece right here, which is called the shoulder mount, which you want it particularly thick, possibly 2 pieces of 3/8 inch foam, anti-fatigue floor mats, which you will use to mount the shoulder piece to the torso piece. Here's a look at it from the inside. This is the front of the chest piece. I'd recommend putting the mount close to the edge of the shoulder piece and right on the seam here where the front shoulder pattern piece meets up with the center piece here. You may need to play around with it a little bit so you have it placed where you want it, but that's a general guideline for that. So for back pattern piece 1, that is this pattern piece right here, this main piece in the back right here. For back pattern piece 2, that is half of the top of the back right. Again, you could print it out twice, tape it in the center so you have one full pattern piece, or you can just flip the pattern piece over on your foam and trace the whole thing out. For back pattern piece 3, that is the side piece of the back, which is right here, slightly obscured by the shoulder. Then for back pattern piece 4, that is half of this bottom piece right here. Again, you can print it out twice, tape it in the center, or just flip it over to get both sides when marking it on your foam. And the next sheet is just back details, all made out of 2mm foam, placed here, here, and here. And then you have details on the side here too. This section right here is called the back tail, and it just has 2 pieces. It's pretty straightforward. You have your back tail 1, and then you have your back tail 2, which is just a detail piece. Now for the bicep section, you've got your 3 pattern pieces that layer on top of each other. Again, you'll probably want to mark these center lines to help you line up the pieces when you glue them all together. And then there's also the registry marks you'll want to cut out of the pattern and mark on the foam itself to help you line all the pieces up so you get a nice symmetrical piece like this. For the tricep section, it's much like the bicep section. Just have your 3 layers, cut them out, glue them together. And then for the bicep tricep section, you have a 3rd piece that goes in between the 2 pieces here to help cover up the elastic that you're going to put in between the 2 pieces. This is the pattern for it right here. When you cut the piece out of 2mm foam, you'll want to glue it to the back side, the tricep side, and leave it free on the bicep side so that as you move, the piece will be able to move and stretch. So on this side, on the outside, if you want to do it this way, there's more than one way to do this. What I did is I put a piece of elastic on the inside here and then adjustable Velcro. So what this does, it allows you to adjust the piece so it's a snug fit while also stretching as you move your arm. And again, the bicep tricep piece just goes on the inside and is designed to cover up that elastic piece right there so people don't see it. When gluing your elastic piece in, I recommend gluing it roughly at the center points. You don't want to glue it close to the edges of the pieces because then you won't be able to get this guy on the inside there, allowing it to stretch and give and actually cover up the elastic. For this piece here, I used about a 7-inch length of elastic. For you, it may be different depending on the size of your arm. And for the last section, the abs section, abs 1 and 4 are the top and the bottom pieces. This piece here and this piece here. And then you have pieces 2 and 3 right here. So on the top piece, there are some registry marks that are there to help you line up and center the piece when gluing it into place. So to attach the ab pieces, I'd recommend cutting out 2.5-inch lengths of foam, about 1 inch wide, and using this for your mounts to glue the abs on. Also, another recommendation, before you put all of this together, On the inside, I recommend marking a center line and marking a few inches out on both sides. So when you glue these ab mounts in, you'll be able to add those ab mounts in a centered position. Here is the front of the chest piece, and on the inside of it, you'll notice I've got actual 2 extra scraps of foam that I glued on the inside here. I had to do this because the back side has so much weight to it that it wants to slide backwards when wearing it. So these pieces glued into the front of the chest are basically counterweights, so it sits properly on you. So here we have the back side again. Another thing to note, when cutting out these side pieces, on the inside here, you'll have to cut out more than a 45-degree angle to get the back of the torso to have as smooth contact as possible to the back piece itself. So you'll notice on back three side, it says 45+ degree cut. That's to note that you'll probably cut it at a 45-degree angle and then have to come back with your blade and shave it even further. For attaching the back piece to the back of the torso piece, I'd recommend doing it near the top of the back here, and then measure out so many inches on both sides and down so you have a symmetrical piece when you glue it into place. For painting the pieces, I would recommend always heat sealing it first. And then what I did on this, I did roughly 4 or so coats of Plasti Dip to seal it, and then 2 extremely light coats of Duplicolor Perfect Match. This is their dark blue pearl. For these edges here, these faint edges to make it look like it's got a little wear around here, all I did was take a silver Sharpie and mark them. It's easy to overdo this, so general rule of thumb, less is more. For the metallic parts like the abs here and the lower parts of the triceps and biceps, after doing about 4 coats of Plasti Dip, I did a few light coats of Rust-Oleum Metallic Flat Soft Iron.